Gotham Season 2, Episode 17, Into the Woods. Now, unfortunately, this was the end of sort of the three-episode, like, Nygma Gordon versus arc deal, and I think they've been three really good episodes. This was a great, and once again, surprising conclusion. I think, for me at least, the past three episodes have been really surprising, because I never thought Jim was going to jail. Very next episode, he escapes, and then this week, they actually put Nygma away. He's, of course, he's not calling himself the Riddler just yet, but he's in jail. And like in my last review, I mentioned I don't think they'll do that because it's so early. It's one of those changes that I didn't think they'd have. Where at some point he'd probably get it, blamed on somebody else. But I just love the way it played out. I was totally fine with the way everything happened. I'm very curious what they're gonna do now because he's been arrested, which I guess makes sense. He doesn't have to like instantly become the Riddler. He's just can't be the medical examiner anymore. So I guess it technically doesn't change that much. I don't really know much about his backstory. I just know he's obviously been in Arkham Asylum a bunch of times. That may or may not happen in this. They technically only have him for the two murders, which should be more than enough, really. But they kind of just seem like he's a serial killer and not the whole split personality thing and all that stuff. So that may not happen until later on. Who knows if he'll end up escaping or how that's going to play out, because of course he's not going to be gone from the show. But I love the way they did it. I thought it worked out really well. I liked the sort of confrontation that they had when Jim finally figured out that it was Nygma. And of course he screwed himself up. He was freaking out, and of course the psychopath thing, that was like his little trigger, and it screwed him up. And so he's saying a little bit too much. And so he does that, and Jim's like, "Why don't we listen to the tape together?" And that's when he gets busted. But even then, they had a really great surprise, and I love the way it played out when he realized like it was a mechanical thing. And Riddler, he probably gave the easiest riddle I've ever heard, because I was like, even I could figure that out. I was like, thank goodness, because every time he does one, I feel stupid. But I was like, I could figure out that was a clock. So, and he does the riddle and everything, and then it of course goes off behind him, and then we find out he has the main electrical circuit attached to Jim's chair, so he shocks him and knocks him out. Then he shoots him in the leg. He gets shot in the leg, so that brings in Bruce and Selina at least into like the main storyline, because they had like their one scene in the beginning of the episode, which they did do the shot where they made it look super far, but it was just a camera trick to make it look like it was really far, because when they show them next to each other, it's like, I could probably make that jump without running, really. But they make it look like it's incredibly far when they do that. So, and it actually makes it look worse, because it makes it look super fake compared to it's just two rooftops that are actually fairly close to each other. They make it look like it's incredibly far. And I was like, that actually, like, I get why they did that, because it makes it like, oh, he jumped super far. But it actually made it look fake to me. So it was like, and I was hoping that was like a little dream sequence when I saw the promo for this. But it was fine. I was like, unfortunately, they did go with that as an actual scene, but it was fine. It was a little moment, and Bruce had a good story in this as well. But the main thing I thought was really good. Like he works with Selina, and it's like, this is everything I heard from Penguin. This is everything that he knows. So go in, say this stuff. We'll trick Nygma, and we'll just follow him to the body. And of course, it all works out. Then Nygma, at the end, he has their whole confrontation, and he's laughing. He's like, bravo and everything. And he gives probably the hardest riddle he's ever given, because he said so much stuff. I was like, I don't even know what he's saying. I just stopped paying attention. I was like, this is more than a sentence. I was like, I'm not going to figure this out in 2 seconds. And then it was death. Which probably should have been obvious as well. I thought he was going to say something. I was like, I figured the answer was going to be like either a bullet or a gun. And then he was like, my grasp reached for warm hearts only. I was like, well, I don't know what the heck that means. Which he could equate to bullets, but he said so much extra stuff. I was like, that's not going to be a bullet. So I loved the way it played out. And him running, I thought, was really funny, because of course he takes off. He took a couple steps, and then he tried to hop over like a log, and he tripped and just fell face first in the snow. And so of course he's busted now. But it worked out, and despite him no longer being in the show, and we actually got to see the split personality thing again in the mirror, which I thought was well done. Despite him being gone, I'm looking forward to when they bring him back. But they don't disappoint, because with them having this balance of mostly with Riddler and Penguin, they kind of have the ability to switch him in and out. And Penguin obviously was the one that started off. He was always in the crime thing, and with his transition into being like the nice version of Penguin, it was like we just had to wait. Obviously, they killed his dad. He was gonna snap, and he's gonna turn back, and they did it perfectly. They have this 3 episode arc where we have Penguin and what's going on with his family. Nygma's going full on Riddler, which has been really great, and then he gets busted. And by the end of this episode, we have Penguin back in the craziest way they could have done it. Honestly, I thought, okay, he has the poison. He's gonna kill them. He might stab them, or he'll kill them. Pretty much it. And so they're eating. And even when she's like, oh, ring the bell again, I was like, they're already dead. I thought he'd just say, like, oh, they died. And then, I forgot the exact line he said. He was like, oh, you thought, it was like you thought they tasted the same. And I was like, he cooked them. Like, he chopped them up and put them in the meat. And it just blew my mind. I was like, that is the furthest we've ever seen him go. And personally, I love that. It was absolutely freaking insane. He killed both of them and cooked them up as 2 little pieces of meat. And it was crazy. Like, just human roast. And it was nuts. And so he doesn't even use the poison, which I thought was very interesting. It sucked he tested on the dog. I was like, oh, that sucks. But he finds out that it's poison. I'm like, okay, he put it in the meat or something. Maybe it's like a little bit in the meat so it would take a bit longer. And then it's like, nope. Chopped up your kids, put them into meat. You ate both your kids. He pulled a Cartman, honestly. It's from a super old episode of South Park. But I was like, he pulled a Cartman and put her kids in the food and made her eat the food. And it was just insane. And of course, he kills her. He just stabs her. And, his hair is back. He's kind of wearing an older outfit like he had before. And I loved it. I was like, that was a great way to bring him back. I thought it would just be simple. He'd stab them. They die. He killed them off screen and turned them into roast. So that's about as crazy as it gets. So I love the way that they brought him back. Perfect timing, of course, with Riddler sadly going to prison. I really like Riddler. I think, or I guess Nygma. I always switch back and forth. But what they did with him, I think, was really well done. Excuse me. The episode before last, of course, when he was actually doing all the riddles to actually get Jim put in jail. Definitely great. No one figured it out until, 2 episodes later. And I think that's how it kind of should be. He's not going up against Batman. It's normal people. And he's doing, stuff that they've never come across. It's not like the millionth time he's fought Batman either. So it's the first time anyone's really dealt with Edward Nygma as the Riddler. And I think they did a great job with it. I really am looking forward to however they bring him back. He probably won't be in, I don't know if he'll be in the rest of the season at all, really, because of the prison stuff, unless they break him out, already, like by the end of the season. But I'm looking forward to how they do his character in the future, for sure. Penguin, I really don't know if he's going to go after Butch, or how that's going to play out, because we still have Butch, we still have Tigress, because Tabitha, I believe is her name, because I always forget her actual name. Hopefully that's right. And based on the promo, we actually have a couple of people coming back. So we actually have Galavan coming back in the next episode, which I cannot wait to see how that plays out. And we also have Mr. Freeze coming back. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out, and maybe if we'll get to see some more people come back to life as well. But for now, they brought back 2 of the characters, and of course, bringing back Galavan is going to be a really big deal depending on how many characters they blend in to the whole situation, because of course if he has his memories, he's going to know, he can flat out say Jim Gordon killed me, which obviously in certain cases it's kind of like he's not dead, and technically they don't know he died because they initially said like he disappeared, if I remember right, but they just assumed that he was the one that died. Or no, he turned their body in. They turned his body in, so if he shows up alive, that's going to be weird for people. Because they did know that he was dead, because they had the Penguin's umbrella in his mouth. So he was definitely turned in dead. But I'm looking forward to this next episode. They also ended the Selena Bruce arc as well in this episode, which was a little bit on the back burner of the last couple episodes. It had its moments for sure. It wasn't, I think maybe in the last episode it was probably like half of it, or I think it was the last episode where they were like trapped in the house. But for the most part, it was, little things Bruce kind of learning. new lessons and stuff like that. And in this episode, he learns kind of his final lesson where it's either, the work or the girl, so he chose the work in this case because you can't have both unless, it's Talia al Ghul, in which case it's all a mess. But as far as, young Bruce Wayne, it's either the work or it's Selina. And he chose the work. So we're going to get to see what goes on there. Also in the next episode, we find out exactly who contracted matches and stuff like that. So they're doing a lot leading up to the finale. I'm not sure even what episode the finale is going to be, technically, but I'm sure we're very close. So definitely looking forward to that. I think with Selina, they did a little reference to the first Batman movie because of the stitch on her jacket, like the outfit from the first Batman movie, or I think it was the second one, Batman Returns. So that I thought was cool. I was like, so he stitched up a jacket. Then they showed it. I was like, oh, I get it because of the movie. So that was a nice little nod there. But it was a fun episode. I certainly enjoyed it. It's sad to see Nygma go because I really loved him. Really becoming the Riddler, and I actually think they did a great job with that. But with the villains that they have, we also have Barbara coming back in because she woke up last time, so now she's officially been released. And Hugo Strange is just like, I want to see what happens. So, meh, who knows what's gonna happen there? But I'm looking forward to it. Apparently, she is actually, at least for now, a good person because even in the promo, she was actually helping Bruce get some answers. But I feel like she's either gonna snap or they're just gonna kill her off really soon. It's like one of the two. Like either she's gonna snap again and get crazy, or something bad is gonna happen and she'll die as a good character. So it's one of the two. Personally, I would prefer it if she just lived longer and got crazy again because she was actually really fun when she was that way. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Of course, Jim is kind of dealing with a lot of different stuff. He's got relationship stuff he's got to deal with, but he's decided to kind of focus on the case and help Bruce and figure out what's going on there. So I'm looking forward to this next episode. I think this was a really fun episode. Like I said, the only disappointing thing is actually one of the great things, and it's the fact that they actually had the guts to have it where, Nygma got captured. So as great as it was, it sucks to see him, kind of leave the show, at least for a little bit. He might even show up in the next episode, who knows. But really good episode. I certainly enjoyed this one. Definitely want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And, of course, with Barbara coming back into play and Penguin kind of reverting back to his old self, definitely want to know what you guys think is going to come from both their storylines. Because, like I said, for me, we know Penguin is going to kind of do his own thing, so I guess that one's pretty obvious. I don't know. It's hard to tell if he's going to hate Butch when he goes back to him. Like, obviously, they hate him, and the last time, when he was super nice, they, like, tarred and feathered him. So, I don't know if he'll have any ill will towards that, but I don't know. Fairness, I guess, in an odd sense. They let bygones be bygones, so maybe he'll kind of walk in with the clean slate idea and be like, hey, I don't have to, like, blow you guys away or something. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to whatever they do with him. But with Barbara, it's one of two things. Either she'll, very, very Dark Knight Returns. Either she'll live long enough to be the villain again, or she'll die as a good guy. So we'll see what happens with her. But I definitely want to know what you think is going to happen with those two characters. And, of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below. Let me know. And thanks for watching.